Chapter 287, Chapter 145, Cheating to One's Face. Regardless of whether it was the old dowager or the clan head of the Fu family, upon seeing the 10,000 folks well shaking, they considered the possibility of the ancestors' wrath or dissatisfaction. Never in their wildest dreams did they imagine, was the ancestor actually begging for mercy. What had happened inside to make the ancestor speak these words? Could it be, the shaking of the 10,000 folks well is not caused by the ancestor's anger? Swallowing, the Fu family clan head had a look of utter incredulity on his face. It seems, excessive fright can also cause trembling. The old dowager suddenly spoke. Frightened, the Fu family clan head's eyes bulged. I'll ask again. Even the old dowager found it unbelievable and once again bit her tongue, spraying out a mouthful of blood. Her murmur then transmitted, "Mother, what on earth happened? Did these youngsters do something to anger you? I'll discipline them thoroughly." A flash of light appeared on the screen. "Get someone out, I'm begging you, really begging you." Quote. The old dowager's eyelids twitched, and she quickly nodded, "All right." Then she turned her head to the Fu family clan head not far away. "Hurry up and stop the operation of the 10,000 folks well formation, and bring them out." Since they could send people in, naturally, they had means to let them out. Yes. Not daring to delay, the Fu family clan head reached into the air, a dagger appeared, and she sliced over her wrist, causing blood to flow instantly, turning into a stream that surged towards the inside of the 10,000 folks well. The assessment had not ended, and it would take blood essence from close blood relatives of the Heaven Mandate domain to rescue the people. A greater number of people meant a greater loss. Within just 2 breaths, the clan head's face turned pale due to excessive blood loss. Buzz. Upon receiving her blood, the Heaven Mandate domain seemed to have triggered some rules. A spatial distortion ensued, and with a rustling sound, over 10 figures tumbled to the ground, appearing in front of them. It was Zhang Shan, Fu Yingying, and others. Phew. As everyone appeared, the 10,000 folks well seemed to let out a sigh of relief, its shaking ceased, and its light slowly dissipated. The clan head also sat down on the ground, no longer bearing the imposing aura and temperament she had before, looking extremely ragged instead. "Why are we out?" Zhang Shan, absorbed in his cultivation, involuntarily opened his eyes. Although the cultivation time was short, his origin energy was abundant. He not only broke through to the Galaxy Realm pinnacle but also achieved the first level in one go. He had thought about trying to reach even higher, and then he ended up here. Could it be that the assessment had been completed? This is bad, I haven't had the chance to collect more landing pearls. Could it be that Fu Yingying was going to lose? His mind whirling with thoughts, Zhang Shan quickly stood up behind Fu Yingying and the others. Greetings to the old dowager and the clan head. The 7 girls bowed together with their fists clasped. At ease, what exactly happened inside? The old dowager couldn't help but ask, looking over with curiosity. The clan head also quickly raised her head, wanting to know what could make their ancestor tremble ceaselessly, begging continuously. Nothing happened. We were just searching for King Hu and for landing pearls. Fu Yuanying said. She and Fu Piupiao hadn't joined up with Zhang Shan and the others but were looking for landing pearls together, equally clueless about why they had suddenly appeared here. And you? The old dowager looked at Fu Yingying. On our side. Fu Yingying hesitated for a moment before speaking. Nothing really. Zhang Shan suddenly had a breakthrough and successfully reached the Galaxy Realm, absorbing some origin chi. Nothing else happened. Saying this, her pretty face blushed. It was just origin chi, found everywhere. Even if Zhang Shan absorbed a bit more, it shouldn't be a big deal. Surely they wouldn't interrupt their assessment and expend blood essence to bring them out just because of that. A breakthrough. The old dowager turned to look at Zhang Shan, and indeed saw that his eyes were bright and his aura was hidden. Clearly, he had reached the Galaxy Realm. She nodded. If it's just a Galaxy Realm breakthrough, it shouldn't cause too much trouble. Really nothing else was discovered. After asking a few more questions, and seeing that the most special occurrence was Zhang Shan's breakthrough, the clan head was also somewhat puzzled. The Galaxy Realm, they have all attempted breakthroughs, sitting down and absorbing forcefully. How much could they absorb? Let it be, although we forcibly brought you out, the assessment is almost complete anyway. How many landing pearls have you all found? Knowing what actually happened could always be figured out later, now wasn't the time to fuss. The old dowager looked forward with anticipation at everyone. Reporting back to the old dowager, I found 5. Fu Yuanyun flipped her wrist, and a cloth bag appeared before everyone, with 5 fruits emitting a proud fragrance. Not a bad result. The old dowager nodded with satisfaction, looking at Fu Yingying. And you? I only have 1. Fu Yingying's face turned red. She didn't know the correct method to pick them and had found 4 landing pearls in total, but 3 had been used or had disappeared, leaving her holding only 1. And you? Not expecting her pickings to be so few, the old dowager frowned slightly and looked at the others. Fu Kangking hesitated for a moment and then extended her palm. I picked 2. Fu Jinging stepped forward. I picked 1. Fu Weiwei, full of embarrassment, said, I didn't pick any. Fu Yi hesitated and then spoke. I picked 3. 5, 3, 2, 1. The old dowager's eyes revealed a bit of confusion. Could it be a mistake before? If what Fu Yingying realized was indeed the supreme secret technique, how could she have found only 1? Even with limited time, 4 or 5 landing pearls should be attainable, right? Just then, the clan head suddenly spoke. According to the previous agreement, the more you pick, the higher your score in the assessment. Since Fu Yuanyun is first. Clan head, please wait. Just then, Zhang Shan suddenly spoke up. What is it? The clan head frowned. Actually, the landing pearls that Jinging, Yi, and Kangking have, they were all picked by Fu Yingying. Zhang Shan said this and turned his head towards the girls. Isn't that right? This. Fu Jinging and the others exchanged glances before nodding together. Yes. Since their idol had chosen Fu Yingying as admirers, they naturally had to comply. Otherwise, what if he neglected us? Yingying, these were all found by you. We've just taken them over, now we're giving them back to you. Fu Yi was the first to approach, handing her landing pearls over. Fu Kangking and Fu Jinging also handed over their fruits. Watching the fruits multiply in her palm, Fu Yingying turned to look at the young man not far away, full of gratitude. Back in Haiyuan City when she found him, she didn't have too much confidence. It was like clutching at straws, but she never expected him to create so many miracles one after another. Cough cough, such blatant cheating in front of us, isn't very nice, is it? The clan head's mouth twitched. I've seen cheating before, but never so brazen. Do they take us for fools? Chapter 146 announcing the results. We didn't cheat, these were really found by Fu Yingying. Fu Yi quickly spoke up. Shut up. The clan head turned to look at Fu Kangking. Kangking, you speak. She only trusted her own granddaughter. Yi is right, these fruits were really found by Yingying. We were just keeping them safe. Fu Kangking nodded repeatedly, and after speaking, she sneakily glanced at Zhang Shan. Seeing the satisfaction in his eyes, she was overjoyed, feeling sweeter than if she had obtained the inheritance. Quote question mark quote. The clan head, who had not expected her most beloved granddaughter to say such a thing, could no longer hold back. You should know what it means if the landing pearls are gone, right? It means you'll no longer have a chance at the heavenly destiny inheritance. I know, but facts are facts, and even if I want to stand out, I can't twist the truth. Fu Kangking continued. Seeing her granddaughter acting as if bewitched, impervious to advice, the clan head's brow furrowed into a knot. Just as she was about to persuade her further, she heard the old dowager transmit her voice. No need to ask anymore, they've all been charmed by someone. As the most powerful individual in Zui City who controlled the Fox Charm destiny, she saw the issue with Fu Yi and the others at a glance. Charmed by someone. Who has the capability? And who would dare to do such a thing? The pupil of the clan head contracted, nearly exploding with anger. The Fu family were the inheritors of the Fox Charm destiny, yet someone dared to charm them, and succeeded. Was it true? Looking carefully at Fu Kangking and the others, she indeed noticed that something was off about them all. When charmed by someone, their thinking remained clear, and they made their own judgments about anything, except when facing the person who bewitched them. Could it be? Her pupils contracted as her eyes fell on Fu Yingying. To willingly give up the landing pearls she found, just to let her be first, other than being charmed by her, it was hard to think of anyone else. It's her, you guessed correctly. Fu Yingying has comprehended the supreme secret technique in the fox charm destiny, that's what makes everyone willingly submit. The old dowager continued to transmit her voice, her eyes showing satisfaction. Even Fu Jingying and Fu Yi, who were of higher status, had been charmed. What else but the supreme secret technique could it be? Supreme secret technique. The clan head quickly looked over. The old dowager explained her earlier discovery in detail. I see. In that case, the heavens bless our Fu family. The clan head became excited, her breathing growing rapid. She naturally knew what the supreme secret technique entailed. Originally, she intended her granddaughter to obtain the inheritance, to take her place and keep her line strong, but compared to the discovery that someone had comprehended the supreme secret technique, it was far less significant. Because those who comprehend such a secret technique, without any accidents, would surely reach the pinnacle of Kankiu Mountain and even the pinnacle of the mainland, far surpassing a small family that could scrape by in a corner. Alright, let's announce the result. The old dowager nodded. After the announcement, let Fu Yingying come with me. The clan head said no more, nodded, took a deep breath, and then looked around. Since it was found by Fu Yingying and given to you, then counting by number, she has picked a total of 7 landing pearls during this trial, beating Fu Yuanyuan's 5 to become the first in this assessment. That is to say, she will become a Fu family's future successor, inheriting the heavenly destiny left by our ancestors. Yes, everyone bowed and fist saluted. Shen Wujun, Shi Zuking, Yan Sanson, and others wanted to object, only to be stopped by the goddess gaze. Never expecting the result to be announced so easily, Fu Yingying blinked her beautiful eyes a few times, similarly filled with shock and disbelief. Having spent many years in the Ha Yuan dynasty and not having had systematic practice, she had not held much hope of receiving the inheritance and never dreamed not only of success but that the one she brought with her had almost annihilated her sisters. To have charmed all these beauties at once, how would they get along afterward? Rotate weekly, or share the same bed. As Fu Yingying was caught up in her blushing thoughts, she heard the words of the clan head. Fu Yingying, accompany the old dowager for a moment, everyone else can return to their guest rooms to rest. Fu Yingying bowed. Old dowager, clan head, may Zhang Shan accompany me. Him. The clan head looked at the young man, then shook her head, go with the old dowager. It concerns the heavenly destiny inheritance. As an outsider, what is his role in it? Fu Yingying, Zhang Shan is proficient in the way of medicine and has his own understanding of practice. I was thinking if there is an issue with the inheritance, he might aid me. As for the core inheritance, we can simply keep him away. Alright, that's settled. While the clan head hesitated, the old dowager waved her hand in agreement. Such a talent had finally emerged, and more importantly, he did not have much allegiance to the family yet, so why quibble over such a trivial matter? Yes, understanding her intention, the clan head spoke no more. Fu Jingying, Fu Yi, and the others, along with Yan Sanson and company, left the courtyard, while Zhang Shan followed Fu Yingying and the old dowager to where the ancestral tablets were placed. Asking Zhang Shan to wait at a distance, the old dowager did not say much but looked over and spoke in a gentle and kind voice, Yingying, do you know what inheritance means? Fu Yingying thought for a moment. With an inheritance, one's strength can be rapidly increased. Yes, it can rapidly increase one's strength. The old dowager smiled faintly. You're right, but not entirely. In reality, it's the handover between the old and the new, the transfer of fates. Upon saying this and seeing that Fu Yingying was still confused, the old dowager continued, that means, by receiving my inheritance, you will have to take on the responsibility of protecting the Fu family, and somehow lead our people back to Kankiu Mountain and thoroughly revitalize our lineage. Yes, Fu Yingying nodded, her face becoming solemn. Don't be nervous. With your talent, as long as nothing unexpected happens, inheriting the fox charm destiny is a sure thing. There shouldn't be any problems. Initially, I wanted to remind you to treat your sisters kindly in the future. Even though they have had conflicts with you, they are still from the same clan. After you inherit the heavenly destiny, there's no need for ruthless measures, it seems now there's no need for that. The old dowager was very pleased. She knew all too well how brutal the struggles within a large family could be. If not for the competition, she herself wouldn't have fled from Kankiu Mountain to this place and nearly died. Under normal circumstances, given that Fu Yingying faced ostracism from a young age, she would likely seek revenge after gaining the inheritance and increasing her status. However, now that she had successfully charmed Fu Kanking, Fu Yingying, Fu Jingying, Fu Yi, and the rest, turning them into her loyal followers, there was naturally no need anymore for any payback. Knowing this, the old dowager was not angry but rather felt completely satisfied, as it spared them a round of internal family strife. Chapter 147 Inheritance begins. The old Grand Dowager looked at her again. I ask you one last time, after obtaining the inheritance, will you take care of the Fu family, all of them? Of course. As a descendant of the Fu family, it's my unshakable duty, Fu Yingying nodded gravely. The old Grand Dowager said, good, I will now perform the meridian and bone cleansing on you, to help you charge towards the Fox Charm 3rd level. Only when you reach this cultivation realm will you be eligible to inherit the heaven mandate domain my mother left behind. Fu Yingying nodded, Old Grand Dowager, what should I do? Just don't move. The old Grand Dowager extended her palm forward, and the air around them immediately solidified. Fu Yingying felt her entire body restrained by a force, unable to move anymore. Come, let me show you my destiny. With a gentle swipe from the old Grand Dowager, Fu Yingying's vision blurred as she felt as though she was in the river of destiny. In an instant, as if transcending the shackles of time, the old lady before her eyes turned young, barely in her teens. As a child, the old Grand Dowager was as beautiful and lovely as her but had a stubborn tenacity. Taught the ways of cultivation by her mother, she didn't want to learn, often slacking off, until one day her mother returned home gravely injured. The previously kind uncles and aunts, cousins, and brothers no longer showed their tenderness, but revealed their ferocious true faces. If she has no talent, then leave the inheritance to my child. Better give it to my child, one of the 8 great inheritances, can't be wasted in your hands. Don't worry, I will take good care of Kanga, so she has no worries. Just give me the inheritance. Ellipsis. People came every day, speaking sweetly, but in reality, they were forcing her hand. The old Grand Dowager's mother couldn't bear it anymore and one night, took her to quietly leave Kankiu Mountain. However, they weren't far when they were ambushed. Former friends and family, who once appeared so kindly, turned out to be incredibly brutal when faced again. Her mother, in order to protect her, sustained heavier and heavier injuries, at the brink of death at any moment. However, the people who came to hunt them down were also mostly killed. The two fled to Zui City. Her mother couldn't take it anymore and, enduring immense pain and torment, transformed into the Heaven Mandate domain. Since the old Grand Dowager's foundation was damaged, her cultivation could no longer improve, and she had no choice but to marry into a family with the surname Fu and stay here. Then it was the girl who gradually grew up, wanting to avenge her mother, but had no means to do so. She had to live in anonymity, daring not to take the surname Hu, but only Fu. The later events, Fu Yingying was basically aware of. The river of destiny flowed before her eyes. She, at this moment, was like becoming the old Grand Dowager, experiencing the other's life. Her own river of destiny, under this close feeling, slowly merged with that of the others. The river of destiny that had just broken through the second realm, with the replenishment of the old Grand Dowager's strength, went from a narrow stream to a small river in the countryside, then to a rolling river. Intermediate stage of the second realm. Late stage of the second realm. Second realm peak. Upon reaching this realm, Fu Yingying felt that her understanding of the Fox Charm destiny had reached its limit. No matter how broad the surrounding currents were, she couldn't absorb a bit more. It was as if the water tank was already full. No matter how much more water came, it couldn't be accepted. How is this possible? Feeling her strength leaking out swiftly, the old Grand Dowager's somewhat dim eyes showed disbelief. This shouldn't be happening. With your high talent, you should have easily broken through to the 3rd level after receiving the inheritance and perfectly absorbed all my strength. Why is it leaking away? To pass on a heavenly destiny inheritance, you must first practice the same destiny, and secondly, the inheritor's talent also has requirements. Just like the old Grand Dowager herself, limited by her talent, she could not inherit her mother's power, otherwise, she wouldn't have been trapped here, wasting 100 years. This Fu Yingying, hasn't she comprehended the supreme secret technique? Isn't she even capable of charming people like Fu Kunking and others? With such talent, how can she fail to absorb even this bit of power? Once the inheritance begins, it cannot be stopped. If the other party is unable to break through to the third level, and this continues, all her cultivation will be in vain and completely disappear. That's why powerhouses always seek a disciple with exceptional talent, because only in this way can they better inherit their fragments of the heavens and not waste them. Old Grand Dowager. The Fu family master, guarding by the side and seeing her expression was amiss, hurried over, wanting to help but without any means to do so. The inheritance began, and any forceful intervention by outsiders would not only fail to save the situation but also had a high likelihood of causing misfortune to both parties. Hurry up and break through. Knowing that the person in front of her could never break through to the third level of the Fox Charm destiny, the old Grand Dowager was anxious with a face full of urgency. However, no matter how anxious she was, the girl in front of her seemed shackled to the spot, showing no signs of a breakthrough. If she could not break through, she would not be able to absorb the heavenly mandate vitality released by the old Grand Dowager. Thus, this power would flow from her as the center into the courtyard and subsequently dissipate into the world. It's over. The inheritance has failed. Feeling more and more of her own power disappearing, the old Grand Dowager's heart turned cold. She had been planning this for 20 years in advance, and, after the selection, she had thought that this descendant, who even her own mother revered, could perfectly understand all her insights. Now it seemed that she had oversimplified things. It looked like all her efforts would go down the drain. Just as she was filled with disappointment and believed the inheritance had failed, she suddenly felt the power that had not been absorbed by Fu Yingying. Instead of dissipating into the world, it was converging into a river, rushing crazily toward a young man standing not too far away. He was standing quietly, idly daydreaming, apparently unaware that the power was flowing into his body and being absorbed by him. Is that the Zhang Shan who was charmed by Fu Yingying? The old Grand Dowager recognized him. It was none other than the Zhang Shan she had not thought much of. Isn't he just a small fry who was charmed? How could he possibly absorb my leaked out power? One must know that her heavenly mandate vitality wasn't the same as the ones in the destiny plate. It was all refined and contained the essence of the Fox Charm destiny. Without practicing this type of destiny, it was impossible to absorb. Could it be, the one who understood the supreme secret technique wasn't Fu Yingying, but him? Seeing the other party absorbing every last bit of the power, the old Grand Dowager finally reacted, her pupils shrinking. She had always thought that it was Fu Yingying who charmed him, who charmed Fu Kunking, Fu Jingying, Fu Yi, and the others. If so, it would also make sense that it was this guy who had charmed those people. Recalling the first time she noticed the supreme secret technique, the ancestral blessing was completely absorbed. It seems this guy was right there. The heaven mandate domain trembling, and her mother pleading for mercy, appeared to be this guy practicing as well. So that's how it is. The old Grand Dowager came to a sudden realization. All along, she had believed that if there was charm, it was their descendants charming others. She could never have imagined that they had been charmed by someone else, and by a man, no less. But it's too late, whatever she says now. The beginning of the inheritance marked the end of her life, and even if she wanted to explain, it was too late. Different from her realization, Fu Yingying, who was receiving the inheritance, felt the robust power flow through her body and slip away immediately, full of urgency yet without any solution. The third level of the Fox Charm destiny felt like a huge mountain completely blocking her intentions. She desperately wanted to understand it, but due to her limited talent, she never could. Only now did she realize that without sufficient talent, even receiving an inheritance would ultimately be a waste. It was like having great ancestry and a lot of money in the previous generation, but if the descendant did not work hard, they would eventually squander it all. Unaware of their thoughts, Zhang Shan at that moment was pondering how to make Fu Yingying speak up and hand over the agreed upon 5,000 destiny plates. Such a number of destiny plates was definitely a huge fortune for the Fu family and not something they would easily give away. He needed a proper reason. After thinking for a long time and coming up with nothing, he rubbed his temples. Jiang Shan could only wait for Fu Yingying to finish receiving the inheritance before discussing with her. As his stamina returned and he was about to stretch lazily, he suddenly froze, unable to believe it. Fox Charm Destiny, since when did it reach the 4th level? Is it that easy? Chapter 148 Fu Yingying Breakthrough. For someone like Jiang Shan, who possessed a staunchly masculine sense of cleanliness of spirit, practicing Fox Charm Destiny was an embarrassingly difficult task. From the beginning, he had never intended to practice it, and his breakthroughs to the 2nd and 3rd realms occurred unintentionally. Even if he felt uncomfortable, he endured it. But reaching the 3rd realm so suddenly, what was that about? I'm just standing here doing nothing. Filled with doubts, as the eye of insight operated, he looked past and then saw the scattered strength of the old Grand Dowager continuously coming his way, which was then silently absorbed by the Fox Charm Destiny within the library. This was a sneak absorption, not even letting him know. How shameless. 4th level it is then. Seeing that this thing was tightly intertwined with Yuking Destiny and seemed to also enhance it, Jiang Shan gave up struggling and turned to look at the two who were inheriting. At this time, the old Grand Dowager, with her strength dissipating, looked even older. Strands of death encircled her, and a grayish-blue hue surfaced on her face. It seemed that if not for a staunch intent, she may not have held on. Across from her, Fu Yingying was full of anxiety but helpless. Quickly understanding the situation and problems of both sides, Jiang Shan whispered, "Defect," and a book appeared in his mind. He gently opened it and then transmitted. His voice, "Fu Yingying, don't panic, I'll now tell you about the problem you've encountered in your comprehension." Since he had already helped the others to obtain their inheritance, he might as well go all the way and help her solidify her strength and power, which would also benefit him. Fox Charm Destiny is not merely about charming, more importantly, it's about a spiritual connection. After explaining the contents of the book, Jiang Shan explained the solution to her. His voice carried a special strength and magnetism, surging into Fu Yingying's mind, involuntarily making her follow along in practice and learning. Fox Charm Destiny had broken through to the 4th level. With such power, his comprehension was already not inferior to the old Grand Dowagers. Using the library to point more towards the essence, explaining it was easy. After hearing his words, the somewhat anxious Fu Yingying gradually stabilized her emotions. After a while, suddenly her whole body shook, her comprehension of Fox Charm Destiny progressed further, smoothly reaching the 3rd realm. Thunder rumbled. With the breakthrough in realm, the old Grand Dowager's strength that surged into her body finally had a place to stay, quickly infusing and allowing her a deeper understanding and insight into this heavenly mandate. As time passed, after who knows how long, her strength gradually stabilized. Exhaling lightly, Fu Yingying slowly opened her eyes. After the session of practice, her comprehension of Fox Charm Destiny smoothly reached the middle stage of the 3rd level. Although there was still a long way to the pinnacle, as long as she practiced step by step, breaking through was just a matter of time. To comprehend this heavenly mandate to this realm also meant that, as long as there were enough resources, practicing to reach Galaxy 6 Dan was completely possible without any bottlenecks. Such strength could be counted in the Zhou Yi dynasty. No wonder everyone wanted to obtain the inheritance, it indeed was much faster than practicing. Fu Yingying stood up, her eyes reddening. The old Grand Dowager who had been sitting before her just now was already lying on a bed not far away, her body stiff, and by the looks of it, she had already stopped breathing. Old Grand Dowager. Fu Yingying hurried to her side. She passed on her understanding of heavenly mandate to you, thus her life naturally reached its end. Inheritance represents the passing of destiny, meaning it represents the old decaying and the new being born. Don't be too sad. Beside her, Fu family master spoke. Fu Yingying, but, there's no but. Interrupting her, Fu family master said, all you need to do is practice well, not betray expectations, and that would be like helping her extend her life, meaning she continues to live. I understand, rest assured clan head, I will work hard. Fu Yingying nodded. Yes, from the moment of inheritance, the old Grand Dowager had made up her mind to face death, and she herself understood that this result would occur. Rather than being sad, it was better to quickly enhance her strength, not betraying the expectations of the other party. It's good you understand, it's already been one day, what you need to do is to quickly solidify the inheritance and rapidly increase your strength, striving to gain more opportunities after entering Jilin Valley. The Fu family master conveyed the final thoughts of the old Grand Dowager. Yes, she nodded and then seemed to recall something, looking over cautiously. Clan head, I need the destiny plate to aid my practice, could I possibly draw some from the clan's resources? Fu family master smiled, having received the inheritance from the old Grand Dowager and having understood the fox charm destiny up to the 3rd level, you are already the next clan head of the Fu family. Why shouldn't you withdraw some destiny plates? Fu Yingying said, slightly embarrassed, the amount I want to withdraw might be a bit much. Much? How much could it be? Fu family master waved his hand grandly, 300. 500. Rest assured, although our Fu family isn't as wealthy as the royalty or as powerful as the Heaven Mandate Hall, we have accumulated quite a few destiny plates, enough for you to use. Hearing this, Fu Yingying's embarrassment vanished, and she quickly spoke, I want 5,000 pieces. Quote question mark quote. Fu family master stood frozen in place, how many did you say? 5,000 pieces, does our clan have that many? Fu Yingying looked uncertain. That, we do have them, but... Fu family master's attitude changed, his face now filled with embarrassment, that amount is almost all of the Fu family's assets. If we give all of it, there will be nothing left for others to practice with. All of it. Fu Yingying was stunned. She had only returned to the family a few days ago and had thought that, being a prominent family in Zui Royal City, they would be able to spare tens of thousands of destiny plates. She had comfortably promised Zhang Shan, but now it seemed there were not that many. Yes, how about this, I will first give you 3,000 pieces and some artifacts that can enhance cultivation. Use these for the time being. In the following days, I will also gather some more. After a pause, Fu family master said. The Fu family was strong, but due to its large population, its consumption was also great. Being able to give 3,000 pieces at once was already their best effort. Thank you, clan head. Knowing that he couldn't possibly be lying, Fu Yingying cupped her fists in gratitude. Just wait here a moment, I will go and get them now. Fu family master spoke no further, turning around to leave. Seeing her walk away, Fu Yingying then turned to Zhang Shan not far away, her face filled with apology. I'm really sorry, I originally promised you, but now it seems there might not be enough. It's okay to make up the difference later, Zhang Shan shook his head. His visit to the Fu family had been quite rewarding. Not only had he smoothly achieved a breakthrough in cultivation, but his understanding of the Fox Charm destiny had also reached the 4th level, becoming the 2nd destiny in his body to reach the stage. Most importantly, he had helped Fu Yingying successfully obtain the inheritance. Now, with the backing of the Fu family in Zui Royal City, even if others wanted to cause trouble, they would have to reconsider. After a short while, Fu family master returned with 3,000 destiny plates and numerous resources, handing them over to Fu Yingying. The news about the old ancestors passing can't be leaked yet, otherwise there would certainly be many who would target our Fu family. Yingying, you should quickly solidify your cultivation. After your strength is completely stable, try to communicate with Heaven Mandate Domain. If you can forge it, your cultivation will rapidly break through to the limits. Only then can our Fu family be truly safe. The Fu family had many beautiful women and countless resources. With the old ancestor suppressing everything, no one dared to make a rash move. Now that the old ancestor was no more, letting people with intentions know would definitely cause much trouble. The only solution was for Fu Yingying to have sufficient strength. 2 days wasn't a lot of time, but if she could forge the Heaven Mandate Domain, it would be enough. After all, her understanding of destiny had already reached the 3rd level and, before reaching Galaxy 6 Dan Peak, what people called barriers would no longer exist. Alright, you practice here in peace. After your strength stabilizes, try to communicate with 10,000 Fox well. I won't disturb you further. Fu family master turned and left. Seeing her walk away, Fu Yingying handed over a storage magical treasure to Zhang Shan, the destiny plates you asked for. Zhang Shan took them, storing them in the suspended realm, and nodded in satisfaction. With so much heavenly mandate vitality, even if he couldn't push the Yuking destiny to the third level, they would definitely enable his cultivation to greatly increase. Focus on your practice. I will also try to break through to Galaxy 2 Dan. Realizing this, Zhang Shan didn't bother to say more and sat down cross-legged. Having power meant nobody dared to cause trouble, but real safety depended on one's own strength. It was best to push cultivation to its limits first. Zhang Shan was practicing at the Fu family residence. Just outside of the newly bought Zhang Shi's residence, two figures quietly appeared, hiding in the darkness. Master, Junior Min hinted to me that the Zhang Shan's strength and status are not simple. Should we really cause them trouble? A hushed voice sounded. I had guessed as much earlier, otherwise, he couldn't have achieved such deep understanding of Mo Dao at such a young age. Even I had to diligently practice for more than 40 years to achieve what I have today. Stop talking nonsense, proceed as planned. He's currently at the Fu family's home and can't leave, which means, this residence poses no danger. It's a good opportunity to capture his people, then we can threaten this guy to give up the Mo Dao